Good morning. So, my first Facebook Live for the year, woohoo! And it's going to be a big one because I want to share a very beautiful story with you and go into us exploring the medicine wheel for the year. So, last year, every month I was running a women's circle and we explored the medicine wheel and the 8 goddesses that represented the energies of the 8 directions of the medicine wheel. But this year, we're going to do it online. And if you're already a part of the She Temple Facebook group, then you would have seen the learning units that are already a part of that group. And at the moment, I think there's 4 up there. So the first 4 goddesses are already present within the She Temple group. So you can go through those at your own time. But we always start with the Descent of Inanna, or Inanna's descent. And some of you would have already heard this story with me before because it is a really powerful women's mystery story. It's thousands of years old. It's one of the first recorded written stories in human history. And what it does is it explains the hero's journey, or the rite of passage as a hero's journey or a heroine's journey. And it's broken down into 3 sections. So the preparation, the ordeal, and then the integration, or I like to call it the preparation, the initiation, and then the integration. So as we go through the medicine wheel and the 8 directions, there's 3 sections within each rites of passage, our own personal rites of passage, whether it's a massive milestone or transition, or if it's just a little change that's occurring, we go through these 3 different areas so that we can come back, bringing our gifts, learning our lessons, sharing our medicine. So that's why I like to share Inanna's story, and that's predominantly what I'm here to do with you today. Just to give you a deeper understanding of what a rite of passage is and get an insight into what the hero's story actually entails. So let's begin with Inanna's descent. And if you can imagine that Inanna is this beautiful woman, she has everything. She's a goddess, so she has everything that she's ever wanted or needed. She has many temples in her name. She's got many cities that she rules. She's married, she has children, she's fulfilled in many ways. And yet one day she hears the call. She hears the call from the underworld, but she's so busy, so she just kind of ignores it. And then a few days later, she hears the call again, this yearning, that voice that's saying, there's something you need to do. But again, she's like, she's busy. She doesn't have time to think about the underworld. What is this thing anyway? Which represents our unconscious, of course. And then the 3rd time she hears the call and she realizes that she cannot ignore it and that she's going to have to journey into the underworld. Hi, Michelle. She's going to have to journey into the underworld to... You know what? She doesn't know, because the underworld is the unknown. So all she knows is that she has to go on this journey, that she has to go alone, that no one goes to the underworld and comes back, because the underworld is where dead people go to once they die. But she's got this call. She cannot deny it any longer, and so she's going to prepare the best way that she knows how to. So she begins to gather all of her items of power. So she gets her crown and she gets her breastplate and her staff and her necklace of lapis lazuli, and she closes the gates to her temples and she closes the gates to her cities, and she brings together all of these items of power that help her feel grounded and strong and courageous and brave, because she's an adventurer. She's going on an adventure into the unknown. So while she's getting all of these things ready, her best friend Ninshaba turns up. And Ninshaba is like, Inanna, what are you doing? What's going on? What are you getting ready for? And Inanna says, Ninshaba, I need to go on a journey to the underworld. And Ninshaba is beside herself, like, you can't go there. No one goes there. No one comes back alive. You can't do any of, it's not going to work. If you're going to go, at least take me with you. And Inanna says, no, I can't take anyone with me. This is a journey that I absolutely have to do by myself, but there is something that I would ask you to do for me. Ninshaba says, anything, Inanna, just ask me. So Inanna says, I'm going on this journey, but if after 3 days and 3 nights I don't return, then I need you to beat the drum and call for help. Send someone for help. So Ninshaba, of course, agrees to do this, and Inanna begins her journey. So to get to the underworld, she needs to pass through these 7 gateways. So she gets to the first gateway and she knocks on the door. It's Inanna, let me in. I want to come and visit the underworld. I've heard the call. I need to come. And like, no one's answering. Then finally this demon in the underworld hears this banging on the first gate and flies up there to see what's going on. And he can hear this woman, I'm Inanna, let me in. I'm the queen of the overworld, let me pass. And he's thinking, oh, what am I supposed to do about this? No one kind of visits the underworld unless they're dead. What am I supposed to do? So he goes back down to the throne room where the queen of the underworld, Ereshkigal, who is Inanna's sister, is sitting. And he says, Ereshkigal, there is a woman at the first gate called Inanna, and she's asking to be allowed in. So Ereshkigal is this neglected sister who, even though in her own subconscious has been calling out to Inanna, doesn't realize that she's been doing it. And she's feeling a little bit angry, a little bit confused as to why Inanna would be wanting to come down into her world, coming into her domain, the place that, her territory, the place that belongs to her. So she says to the demon, whose name is Biddu, let her through the gateways, but every gateway that she passes through, she needs to relinquish something that she has with her. So Biddu goes up to the first gateway and Inanna's still banging away there, and he calls through the gate, Inanna, I'll let you through, but to come through you need to give me something. You need to give me your crown. And Inanna's like, no, I'm not going to give you my crown. This is my crown. I'm not just going to give my crown away. And Biddu says, Inanna, this is the way. This is the rules of the underworld. You must give up your crown if you want to pass through the gateway. So incredibly, very reluctantly, Inanna gives up her crown and she passes through the first gateway. And she walks until she gets to the second gateway. And again, she bangs on the door. Let me in, it's me, it's Inanna, queen of the overworld. Temples and cities and, all of these amazing things that I am. Let me in. And Biddu says, you can come in, but you need to give me your breastplate. So Inanna hands over her breastplate, again, very reluctantly, and continues on to the third gateway. And at each gateway, she bangs on the door. Biddu asks for another one of her items of power that she has to relinquish before she can move on to the next part of her journey. So it's happening through the third gateway, the fourth gateway. She's giving up her staff, her necklace, all of these things that are her identity, that make her feel powerful. And finally she gets to the seventh gateway and she knocks on the door again. Let me in, it's me, Inanna, please just let me pass. And Biddu takes her final item and she crosses the threshold into the underworld. And she's exhausted from her journey and she's naked because everything's been taken from her, and she's vulnerable because all of these items of power that gave her courage as she journeyed into the unknown have been taken away from her. So she crawls across the threshold, and there's her sister Ereshkigal. And Ereshkigal flies into a rage at the sight of Inanna. Can't believe that she's made it this far and that she would dare cross the threshold into her domain. She's so angry from being denied and neglected for so long, even though she is the one who's called Inanna down here, that she kills Inanna on the spot. She's dead. She hangs her corpse up on a hook in the corner, and that's it. Inanna's made it there, but Inanna died. She's died to her old self. She's died to who she was, and she's helpless, and she's naked, and she's vulnerable, and she's exhausted, and she is no longer. So Inanna hangs on that hook, dead, her lifeless corpse on a hook for 3 days and 3 nights. And then Ninshaba begins to beat on the drum and lament and call for help because Inanna hasn't returned. So Ninshaba goes to the grandmother. She goes to one of Inanna's grandmothers and says, "Grandmother, Inanna hasn't returned from the underworld. We need to send help." And the grandmother says, "No, Inanna knew what she was getting into when she went to the underworld. No one returns from the underworld. We knew she wasn't going to come back. That's just how it is. Sorry, I can't help you." So Ninshaba goes to one of Inanna's grandfathers and says, "Please, please, please help. Inanna hasn't returned from the underworld. We need to send help. We need her to come back. Please help us." And the grandfather says, "No, she's gone to the underworld. It was ridiculous. Why would she do that? Why would she go there? No one returns. It's just how it is. You need to let it go. Just let it go, Ninshaba. She's not going to come back." And Ninshaba wouldn't give up. So she goes to Inanna's other grandfather, Enki, and she says, "Enki, please, please help. Inanna's gone to the underworld and she hasn't returned. It's been 3 days and it's been 3 nights. We need to send help for her." And Enki says, "I really admire the journey that Inanna has gone on. I know that she heard the call and I know that she couldn't deny it. And the bravery and the courageousness that was required for her to journey and adventure into the unknown absolutely deserves my help." So he scrapes some dirt from underneath his fingernails and he creates these 2 creatures, the Kugara and the... I can't remember the other one's name. But I'll put it in the comments. But he creates 2 creatures, little tiny creatures, and they fly. They find all of the ways to get into the underworld, and they come into the throne room of the underworld, and they find Erishka Gull. And Erishka Gull is writhing around on the ground, holding her tummy, writhing and rolling around, going, "Oh, my tummy, it hurts so much. Oh my gosh, my tummy, my tummy." And the creatures go, "Oh, her tummy, her poor tummy, it hurts so much. Oh, poor Erishka Gull." And then Erishka Gull's like, "Oh, my head, it hurts, my head, it hurts so much." And the 2 little creatures go, "Oh, Erishka Gull, her head, it hurts so much, poor Erishka Gull." And then Erishka Gull's rolling around, still going, "Oh, my heart. Oh, how much my heart hurts. Oh, it all just hurts so much." And the 2 little creatures say, "Oh, Erishka Gull, her heart, it hurts so much, poor Erishka Gull." And Erishka Gull sits up and she's looking around. She's like, "Who is it that hears my pain? Who is here that feels my pain? Who is seeing me here in my pain right now?" And the 2 little creatures come out and they say, "We see you, Erishka Gull. We hear you, Erishka Gull. We feel you, Erishka Gull." And she says, No one has ever felt me in my pain before. No one has ever seen me or heard me here in my most vulnerable places before. I want to reward you for your caring and your compassion." And she says, I'll offer you all the rivers in the world." And they said, No, we don't need that." She's like, "Oh, I'll offer you all the foods of the world." And they're like, No, we don't need that." She's like, "Well, what is it that I can give you? How can I reward you for seeing me and hearing me and feeling me?" And the 2 little creatures say, "Oh, we'll just take that corpse that's hanging on the hook over there." And Erishka Gull says, "Oh, Inanna, sure, you can take her. I don't need her, you can take her." So the 2 creatures get Inanna down off the hook and they give her the food of life and they give her the water of life. And Inanna is reborn. But that's not the end of the journey because she's still in the underworld. And this is how we have this correspondence to the rites of passage. Inanna has prepared. Inanna has been through the ordeal. She's died to her old self and she's been reborn. But she still needs to take the return journey home. And this is the integration part of the rites of passage in the hero's journey. So Inanna begins the very long trek home up from the underworld through all of the gateways. And as she's doing this trek, as she's making her way home, and knowing she's just been reborn, still quite fragile and vulnerable, she has all these demons hanging on to her saying, "You can't go, no one leaves the underworld." And she's like, "I've been reborn in the underworld, I am going home." And they're saying, "Well, someone's going to have to take your place. We're going to stay with you until we find someone worthy to take your place." So Inanna is taking this long journey home, and she gets up to the first gateway. She sees the light. She's back in the overworld, and who's waiting for her there but Ninshaba? And she was so happy to see Ninshaba. Ninshaba's pretty much saved her life, the best friend she could ever hope for. She's like, Ninshaba, oh my gosh, I'm so happy to see you. Ninshaba's happy. They're hugging, they're embracing. The demons say, hi, Deb. The demons don't say that. The demons say, we will take Ninshaba. She's very worthy. She's a very worthy replacement. We'll take her to the underworld. And Inanna says, no way. There is no way you're taking Ninshaba. So Inanna keeps traveling, and she comes across her sons who have been looking for her everywhere. They were so worried. They didn't know where she'd gone. They knew she'd been missing. And the demons say, yes, we'll take one of your sons. Your sons, one of them would be so worthy of a replacement. She says, there's no way you're taking one of my sons. And then she finally gets back to her home. She finally gets back to her own throne room. And her throne is empty. But next to her throne is her husband's throne, Dumuzi. And Dumuzi is sitting on his throne. And he's been having a party and having a wild time. He actually hadn't even noticed that Inanna was missing. And Inanna gets up to him and she says to the demons, you can take him. He needs to go on his own rite of passage. And so that's Inanna's descent. Inanna's descent into the underworld helps us understand how so often in life we're preparing for the unknown. We go through these incredible challenges where we die to our old selves, our old way of being, who we thought we were, what we thought we liked, friends, family, things that had meaning to us change. But once it's changed, it's not over. There's this return journey that we need to do where we're picking up different pieces of a new identity, of a new self, of new medicine that we want to share, of our gifts, of our treasures, what we're bringing home to our tribe. We are not a hero until we've come back to our tribe, we've come back to our community, we've come back to our family. When you look at so many different movies, from Moana to Lord of the Rings, all of those things, they're not a hero while they're still on the journey. They're a hero once they've brought the gifts back, the treasure back, the medicine back. And it's such an important part for us to remember. It's why I love teaching about the labyrinth, because the labyrinth only has one way in and one way out, but when you get to the center, you still need to weave your way back out. You don't just walk across it. It's not over once you've reached the center. And I feel like the medicine wheel and the goddesses that represent each of the directions of the medicine wheel really, these feminine archetypes really allow us to sink deeper into each of these energies. If you can imagine, if you broke up that wheel into the 8 directions and then you broke it up into thirds, you've got certain goddesses in each of those sections, and knowing who they are, knowing what energies that they represent, knowing what they're like in the dark and knowing what they're like in the light is so beneficial in gaining clarity on where you are in the journey and what you might need to help you. Do you need your Ninshaba? Do you need the creatures giving you the food and water of life? The food of life is all of those things, like food, like shelter, those physical needs, but the water of life is those emotional and spiritual needs that we sometimes overlook. Do you need the water of life? And are you making the return journey home, picking up new pieces of who you are and being really discerning when you come back about who you want to spend time with and what that looks like? And are you also understanding that if you have gone on this massive transformational journey where you're no longer the same person that you used to be, if other people haven't been on a rite of passage of their own, if other people haven't been through transformational journeys, they're not that they're not going to, but it might be more difficult for them to understand and support you and the changes that you need to implement once you've come back from that hero's journey, that rite of passage. And that's why Inanna sends Dumuzi down. He's her partner in life, he's her husband, and yet he hasn't been through his own transformation. He's unaware, he hasn't gone into the underworld, he hasn't visited his own deep unconscious. So she's not just being mean when she sends him down there. You know, it all has purpose and discernment. She's a wiser woman than she was when she first went down. So I hope that you enjoyed that story, and if you didn't get to see it all, I'm sure you'll be able to watch it in the replay. If you want to journey with us this year through the 8 directions of the medicine wheel, through the 8 archetypes of the goddesses who represent each of those directions, then come and join the She Temple Facebook group and immerse yourself in the learning units. The goddesses will be put in there 1 a month, and there's already a few to go. You'll be able to ask questions, share. It's so beautiful for other people to know that they're not the only ones going through massive transformation. And every time that you share, you give and are vulnerable and share, you give permission for other people to do the same thing. So I hope you're all enjoying 2020. I feel like I've hit the ground running, and and I know I've said to friends and family before that sometimes I feel like January, at least up until that full moon and the Chinese New Year, is kind of just like a practice of the new year, and once it hits that full moon, I'm like fully into it. So I'm still in preparation time too. Hi Emma. So just finishing up this Facebook Live, but please feel free to watch through it again. Definitely join the She Temple group, the Facebook group, so you can see all of the juicy content, the gatherings, the events. I'm having a shamanic journey event in March for the equinox, so there's really lots of beautiful things coming up, and I can't wait to share it with you all. So thank you ladies who've joined me here today. Thank you those who are going to join later on. Again, comment, questions, everything is welcome, and I look forward to seeing you all in 2020. All right, bye.